Alright everybody, well welcome back to another episode, and today we're going to be talking about Tom Green. And not just Tom Green, the Tom Green show, his movies and stuff, but we actually met him a few months back this summer, and it was pretty awesome. Toby, welcome back.
Thanks, man.
And so recently, Tom Green was doing a comedy tour, and he came through Jacksonville. And like we've mentioned before in the last episode, we watched the Tom Green show. We were always a fan of Tom Green, and it was kind of like a surreal moment just to even imagine that we would actually meet him one day.
Absolutely.
And so, Toby, if you want to talk about how you found out about him coming, because I know
it was actually, I believe, through you, because you posted something, I think, on his Twitter, and you remember you mentioned that we live in Florida, and he's posted back and said, "I'm coming to Jacksonville."
Oh,
and we were not even aware of that. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, he's coming to Jacksonville, and it was only like within 3 or 4 weeks. Something.
Yeah,
it was pretty short. And then I
completely forgot I'm the one I found out about it.
Because I remember we were texting one night, and we found out. And what it came to was, like, one morning I texted you, I was like, "Hey man, do you really want to go?" You're like, "Sure," and I showed you what seats were open, and I found front row center at that table. You know, we're not in the very front, but we're at the front table, sharing it with 2 other people that have the very front. So, yeah, and it wasn't very expensive or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think tickets, what did we spend, dude? Like $25 a piece or something?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
You know, and we Ubered out there. Obviously, we had a few drinks.
Mm-hmm. And so, like I mentioned like a million times before, we were literally like obsessed with the Tom Green show, like when it was on MTV. And, you know, since then we've watched him like on like YouTube, just like everything he's done. And like, even though I'm not like the biggest fan of like the movies that he's been in, like his show was probably like the most groundbreaking thing for me, and like in terms of like what makes me laugh and like my kind of comedy. Like, you know, when we were younger, like we were into that prankster type stuff, and like
and I mean, you know, some of it was, you know, kind of like stupid, like him laying on a bench or laying on basically planking before that was a thing, just planking on a New York City sidewalk for like, you know, a couple of hours, and all of a sudden just getting up and walking away after people were like coming around seeing if he's okay, like if he's dead or something. And I mean, but it's just funny. Yeah. You know? And
we were like obsessed with that show like when we were younger, and like, and it still makes me laugh to this day. I know it still makes you laugh. So
yeah, man.
I knew that I think the way it started, now that you reminded me, is it just all came back to me. I remember we were hanging out, we were watching some Tom Green like on YouTube, and I took the picture, like the selfie of me and you watching Tom Green.
That's right.
And then I tweeted it, and I tweeted it to him,
like at Tom Green.
Yeah, I put at Tom Green.
And he was like, "Rock on, dude."
Yeah, he was like rock on, and I was like, oh my gosh, he actually like
responded.
He actually responded to the tweet. And through that is the conversation where, you know, I was like, man, we would love to see your show, whatever, like, but we're here in Florida, because he was promoting a Las Vegas show at that point. And he was like, Comedy Zone in like it was like 2 weeks. And I was like, holy crap. And so like we were talking about it, and finally, yeah, you sent me a text, and we really pulled the trigger on those tickets. And you know, just for the heck of it, I remember I was talking with you, and I was like, you know, that'd be so awesome we could actually get to meet him. And so thinking that he probably wasn't going to respond, I tweeted him, and I was like, hey, we cool to like meet sometimes. Like, oh yeah, that would be awesome. But I actually sent him like a DM, and he responded back, and he was like, yeah, just let me know what show you guys are going to, and like, you know.
Well, we even asked him for a suggestion which show to go to.
Yeah.
And he said the best one to go to is probably the last night I'm there, the final show. He was like, I have time after that to hang out and stuff. And then when we got there, you remember we went to the bar at the Comedy Zone, whatever, right outside the entry door. and you sent him a direct message again, and he responded, and his actual, like, I wouldn't call him a bouncer, but kind of like a manager-ish.
Yeah.
He was also doing stand-up too, that guy. But he was looking for us.
Yeah, because I sent him a message, and we were like, I was like, yeah, man, looking forward to your show. We're in, at the bar, and I was like, oh, you're in the main area. I'll come and find you. And that's when I was like,
we thought he was going to come out to the bar like any second, and there's probably like another 15, 20 people around there. It would have caused a scene for sure.
Yeah, but we saw this guy come up.
Yeah, he was walking around.
Yeah, and he was scoping us out, and looking. But then
they've seen the picture that we posted when we got there.
Yeah, because we posted a picture at the bar.
Yep.
And so I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, in my mind, I know we were both probably kind of thinking, like, who was this guy? It looked like he was looking for somebody.
Yeah.
But we saw him look at us.
But it could have been anybody.
Yeah, it could have been anybody.
And so it's a hotel bar, too.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily he's there for the comedy show or even affiliated with it.
Yeah.
He might have just been looking for a work colleague. Who knows?
Yeah, and so, then we go in, because the first show was done, and they were seating for the second show. We went in, sat down, and then you were like, you know what? I'm going to go out. I think I'm going to use the restroom really quick or something. And then you came back, and then you could...
Yeah, so when I went to the restroom, I was walking back. This guy, the guy that we saw at the bar, he was just like, hey, are you Ryan Chattaway's friend, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yes. He was like, I was looking for you guys before the show. He thought that we went to the show prior to, but still regardless, we could have still went and hung out with Tom for a good 15 minutes or so before the show. That wouldn't have been a problem, but we missed our...
Yeah.
He didn't find us that quick, If we were, like, not at the bar, maybe, like, if we were, like, at the front door, of the entryway, whatever, we could have probably, met Tom before the show. But, I mean, regardless, man, we got to hang out with him.
Yeah. And so the show starts, and the guy, the manager, or whoever it was, he knew we were sitting. And the show starts, and Tom comes on stage, and he starts, like, pointing at different people in the crowd. And so then, I think me personally, I feel like he was planning on calling on us anyways. But remember, he called on both of us. And
called, yeah, but he staggered it around, because we're sitting right next to each other. I think he called on you first.
Yeah.
And then, like, he bounced around to, like, maybe 4 or 5 other people, then called on me, things like that. But Tom's a funny guy, but I don't think he could really, from what I said I do for a living, he couldn't really come back from there. He was just like, oh, so you like playing with Legos? Yeah. And I was just talking to your wife about playing with Legos.
Yeah.
Right? Like 5 minutes ago. So.
But, because, and so he went through the crowd, and so, like, it was an awesome night, and
it was a good experience, man.
Yeah, and so afterwards, well, first of all, during the show, we ended up getting free drinks. At that night, I like to tell myself that Tom sent them to our table, which I doubt that was the case. They just brought the drinks to the wrong table.
Well, the waitress, basically, she was like, hey, you guys ordered 2 tequila shots? It's like, no. She was like, well, it says this table. I wouldn't. And remember, we asked the girls in front of us that were together. They're like, no, we didn't order this.
And so, we drank them, and in my mind...
We shared it with them, too.
Yeah.
Basically, me and you took a shot, and gave them another shot. Yeah. We just split it 50-50.
And so, in my mind, I was like, sweet, Tom bought us drinks. When in reality, they probably...
Went to the wrong table.
Went to the wrong table.
But who knows, man? Maybe he did.
Yeah. Tom, if you're watching this video, let us know. Was that you? Then afterwards, who was it that you said it was the Uber driver?
He was telling us the best way to meet Tom is to go by the pool patio of the venue there, because it's a hotel also. Prior to the comedian leaving the stage, like go out there just a couple of minutes early, which we did follow his guidance on. We went out there probably about 3 to 5 minutes before he got off stage. Yeah, we saw pretty much the entire show. Yeah. When he started saying his goodbyes, thanks for coming out, things like that, we bolted out.
Because we knew we were going to meet him anyways, because he said
we didn't want it to be like hectic. We wanted to make sure that we could actually see him, hang out, whatever.
Yeah, and so we walk outside the back door, and then we see Tom
he was already back there.
Yeah, he was already back there, and
some other people already did what we planned to do.
Yeah, and so like we walk up and we're thinking like I was gonna actually go up to him and be like, hey, you know, I was talking with you on, and before I could even say any of that kind of stuff, he was like, hey, where's your phone? Remember I told you we gotta take a selfie. We gotta get this selfie. And then he was like, and where's these tapes I'm gonna autograph? Because me and Toby both brought, we got these at like Blockbuster, like back, like when they came out. And it's
probably 99 or 2000.
Yeah, the best of the Tom Green Show, like on VHS. And so he signed mine and Toby's, but this is my copy right here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna actually edit them over this video, but then there's this picture. We got like a picture with him, but I'm gonna put them over this video so you actually see him clearly. And we actually spent a good 5 minutes just kind of
bullshitting with them.
Yeah.
You know, just telling them, you know, basically how much we enjoyed the show growing up, things like that.
And it was awesome because he was like genuinely like an awesome
down to
guy.
earth, yeah.
Yeah, like in
Very much so.
Sometimes when you meet people or you're thinking about meeting people that you like looked up to or idolized at some point, like you think like, do they end up ass in real life? Like sometimes you hear stories like that.
Of course.
But in this situation,
not at all.
Not at all. In fact, like the whole experience is awesome because we chatted with him like on Twitter before, leading up to the show,
and even after.
After the show,
we even asked him if you want to go out and grab a beer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, which is, of course, that might be pushing it. But he was just like, I mean, he was honest with us. He was like, hey, man, I got a 4 a.m. flight to Vegas.
Yeah.
I got to make. And, you know, at this time, man, what time was it? Like 12:30, 1?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good hour drive to the airport. So, I mean, in itself.
I don't know if he has a private plane or if he's going wherever, but still, regardless, I mean, you know, dude needs to get some rest.
Yeah. And so he was like, man, I'd love to, but I got a flight pretty soon. And so obviously we didn't actually think it would probably happen because we probably figured that you know, but we were just, you know, we had a couple drinks, so we're like, I might as well just ask. And so we had a great night, and we were kind of like on cloud 9 for like a while after that. So we're like, we actually, if we went back in time and told 13-year-old Ryan and 13-year-old Toby that we'd actually meet Tom Green one day, like,
oh god, probably not even 13-year-old us, probably 11-year-old us.
Yeah, and like we would be completely floored and blown away.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was like such a down-to-earth person.
Yeah.
And you know, I told him, you know, I was like, hey, you know, I make YouTube videos. You know, he saw that by Twitter, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna make a video of the night. And he was like, awesome, share it with me whenever you finish it. Well, I never made the video, but I told him that one day it was here, so I'm going to share this with him, and hopefully he watches. But yeah, it was just an overall, like, crazy.
It was a great experience.
Crazy.
And, I mean, for anyone that's watching, if Tom Green's coming to a, you know, somewhere near you, I would very highly recommend seeing him.
Yeah, because his stand-up,
it's actually really good. You wouldn't think that Tom Green did, you know, good stand-up.
Yeah, like you would think it was like
kind of hesitant
because you would think it was like going to be like a prankster type,
exactly,
like stand-up. Like there's a lot of comedians out there that are like that, but
of course,
he actually like has.
No, he's really funny, man.
Really funny, but like really intelligent stand-up.
Exactly.
Like, you know, there was some. Remember, he like started naming all the presidents like in order, and like and most of the crowd is like, you know, we're all Americans. Like, man, this guy from Canada knows more about our history than we do, and so like. Overall, it was a great experience, and like he said, like if you guys are even a borderline fan of his, do not pass up to see him. And even if you're like not really the biggest fan, I would still recommend to go see him because his stand-up is awesome, and it probably will change your mind.
And I'm sure tickets aren't going to be expensive.
Yeah, because I mean we had great. I mean I don't think our seats could have been better.
No, we couldn't have been.
And you know, it was just an overall awesome night. So. Anyways, that's it for this episode. I don't know how much shorter this one is, but it's probably, I don't know. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks again, Toby, for joining me. And we will see you next time.